the Intercity League, and the Boston Athletics from the Boston Park League. Before we get started, let's introduce you to today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Boston Athletics, entering today with a record of 3-6. Leading off at shortstop, number 12, Derek Pizarro. Batting second, the second baseman, number 1, Marcus Feliz. Batting third, playing third base, number 8, Tommy Linane. Batting cleanup, starting at first base, number 9, Kevin Luciano. Batting fifth, the center fielder, number 7, Joe Porcelli. Batting sixth and catching, number 30, Ryan McGowan-Conran. Batting fourth, starting in right field. Batting seventh, starting in right field, number 4, Javon Barberena. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 11, Brennan O'Brien. And pitching and starting at designated hitter, number 21, Kevin Sinatra. On the mound for the Blue Sox tonight, the right-hander, number 27, Matt Draper. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's play ball.
And with that, we welcome you to another edition of Blue Sox Baseball here on LSP from center field at Lexington High School in Lexington, Mass. Sam Feely, Chris Del Sordo, and the Blue Sox at 3-3 taking on the Boston A's of the Boston Park League in the first interleague matchup of the season for both teams. So far, the ICL holding serve against both the Park League and the Yawkey League. Undefeated against the other two leagues so far. And the Blue Sox hoping to do the ICL proud tonight, and certainly could do that with a repeat performance of last year's matchup against the A's, in which the Blue Sox mercied the A's 13-0 in 5 innings. Nick Anderson and Josue Feliciano leading the offense with a grand slam for Nick and a home run as well for Sway, his only home run of last season and the third and final of his Intercity League career. And Sway, we hope you're tuning in and sending some good vibes from quote-unquote sunny Florida. Max Dushy fires the ball to second, and we are ready for some baseballs. It'll be Derek Pizarro to lead things off, the shortstop for the Boston A's.
On the mound for the Blue Sox, the right-hander, number 27, Matt Draper. And leading us off for the Boston A's, the shortstop, number 0, Derek Pizarro.
Pizarro in 3 games so far this season, 4 for 10 with a double and 3 RBIs. Going to get a little bit of an early start, possibly first pitch coming at you, 7:59. Grounder to the left side, pass Ramirez. McCullough, 1 up, 1 down. Good stretch by Luke Ward over at first to keep that one in his glove and his foot on the bag. So 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the ball game.
Now batting for the A's, the second baseman, number 1, Marcus Feliz.
Marcos Feliz, 3 for 14 on the year in 4 games. Fouls that one off, and it squirts all the way back to the A's dugout for strike 1. Feliz 3 for 14 with 1 RBI and 2 walks in his first 4 games with the A's this year. Who again enter play 3-6, 6th out of 7 in the Boston Park League. That'll be fouled off again. Count will be 0-2. Here you see the Boston Park League standings with the EI Braves leading the way at 9-2 and ADSL even in the loss column, but 3 games back in the win column. 7-2 for the Braves. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Marcos Feliz, 2 up, 2 down. Did I say 7? I meant 9. Everyone's... Would be nice to get 11 games in so far this season, though, although in fairness, the Park League does start their season a little bit earlier than the ICL does, but tomato, tomato. Here is Tommy Linane to try and keep the line moving here in this top of the first. Draper delivers, and that'll be down and away for ball 1. Tommy 1 for 9 in his first 3 games of the A's this year, 1 RBI, 1 walk. Swing, skies that one in the corner in left field, and that is a foul ball. Gave it a good ride, but sigh of relief for the Blue Sox there. It is 1-1 to the number 3 hitter in the A's lineup, Tommy Linane, the third baseman, Kevin Luciano, the first baseman. Cleanup man due up next if we get that far. Off the end of the bat into shallow center. Nick Anderson comes in, hauls it in, and it is a 1-2-3. Top of the first for Matt Draper and the Lexington Blue Sox. Happening in the books. A's nothing. Sox coming up. LSP and Shipping Shield are partners in card. Shipping Shields are the eco-friendly sports and gaming card shipping protectors, trusted by yours truly. Made in the U.S. and Canada on 100% recyclable cardboard. Use the checkout codes and the link on the screen and in the description for a discount on your order. We may receive a commission from those orders, but we thank you for your continued support of whatever this is. All right, we go to the bottom of the first. The Lexington Blue Sox about to come to bat for the first time tonight with Jesse McCullough, Anderson Jimenez, and Eric Ramirez due up to lead off the home first. They'll be facing Kevin Sinatra, who's getting the start tonight as the pitcher and the designated hitter for the Boston A's. On the pitching side of things, Sinatra's played in one game so far. That was a win in 5 innings, allowing 8 hits and 1 earned run with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts against TJO back on May the 29th. Here's McCullough after a fine defensive play for the first out of the ball game, hoping to bring the pain to lead off the bottom of the first offensively. He'll take a little bit high for ball 1. Blue Sox also entering play 6th in their respective league, the ICL, but at 3-3, the Sabres at 3-6. At the bottom of the ICL standings, and McCullough lean off single to begin the home first.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 2, Anderson Jimenez.
So for McCullough, that he picks up his 8th hit of the year. He is now batting .500, 8 for 16 on the season. Here's AJ. Anderson Jimenez looks at strike 1. Jimenez 3 for 10 in the early going with 1 double and 3 RBIs. Fouled off, out of play, and the count will move to 0-2. Jimenez getting the start at second base tonight. Third baseman Eric Ramirez due up next. Julian Alvarez, the DH, Nick Anderson in center. Charlie Camella in left. Dom Gabardi in right. Luke Ward at first. As that'll be fouled off again. Still 0-2. Now, last year in interleague play, all teams had to bat 9 guys in the lineup. So there's no option for the EH as there is in the ICL. But at least as of now, the last 2 hitters in the Blue Sox lineup are the extra hitter Casterly and the catcher Max Dushney. But there's been a change there. We'll let you know as soon as we get confirmation. So Jimenez goes down on strikes, and here is Eric Ramirez, the third baseman. Ramirez in 5 games this season, batting .500, 7 for 14, 4 runs scored, 3 doubles, 3 ribbies, and 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts. McCullough over there at first leads the team with 3 steals in as many attempts and nearly got picked off there on the swipe on the back. Just a scramble back to the first base bag, but he's still there with 1 out, and Ramirez awaiting the first pitch of his AB. Swings at it, towering fly ball. Ball's not going to travel very far tonight with this muggy, thick air, at least in the early going, and ends up being a fly out to the center fielder, Joe Porcelli, for out number 2. And here comes King Jules back to reclaim his throne. Jules 4 for 6 in his first 3 games this season for the Blue Sox. All 3 of his RBIs came against the Expos on June 2nd. That Expos game was also when he had his last hit. When 0 for 1 against Melrose and did not play against Malden back on the 11th. Oh my! Oh man, he's got the torpedo bat and the the push pop colors. Here we go. McCullough runs and a double clutch by the catcher. McGowan Condren will allow McCullough to get into second uncontested with his 4th steal of the year. I mean, like you don't even need to do the Ronald Acuna Jr. thing and add yellow for like your nationality because he's from the Dominican. Because Jules is from the Dominican and that misses inside 2-1. You just need the uniform for that, the Blue Sox uniform. Although if the Blue Sox still had all those uniforms that they've had in years past to the point where they had more jerseys than the rest of the ICL combined, then you might need to do some work. I still have the Carolina Blues as the home jersey for the Blue Sox in Diamond Dynasty. Smacks that one into center field. That gets down for a base hit. McCullough heading around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. Will be cut off. RBI single for Julian. 1-0 Blue Sox. You would have hated being around me when we broke out the black uniforms. I don't think we ever won a single game wearing the black jerseys. I mean, I was like, why though? Like, anyway, here's Nick Anderson. Had a grand slam in the 13-0 win over the A's last year. That was at Town Field in Dorchester. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Close. Oh, did get inside the line. Close enough. And that's rolling all the way towards the gravel path. They kept it in play. If it had rolled out of play, it might have, well, it would have resulted in the same result we see anyway, second and third, but another 2-out hit for the Blue Sox. So Alvarez at third, Anderson at second. And here's Charlie. Katrina letting us know in the chat that the Carolina Blues were an important factor in the basically the motif of the wedding. I had the Carolina Blue dunks as part of my suit, but I just wish guys had broken them out again. But I mean, nothing wrong with these uniforms at all. This is the Pete Frates Classics, to be fair. Like one of the most endearing pictures of Pete with the Blue Sox involves him wearing these uniforms. The Navy with the red shoulders and the red block letters and numbers. It's been a staple of the Blue Sox ensemble. Become more associated with the Blue Sox even than the classic sleeveless pinstripe uniforms that Matty Karras always loved. But as Camella grounds out to second, we are through one inning with the Blue Sox on top, 1-0. Advertising opportunities are available on LSP. Sponsor our content for as little as $25 a spot, whether you want to promote a business, product, or event, or send a message of support to a player, team, or coach. Email yours truly for all the deets. As we get set for the top of the second, just going back to that game between the Blue Sox and the A's last year. I'll pull up the box score on that one. That was a game where every Blue Sox batter reached base at least once, with 8 of the 9 getting a hit, and the only one who didn't get a hit, Jimenez, did get on base via a walk and scored a run. That was back on Tuesday, June 11th. That was a 13-0 drubbing of the A's, one day after a 13-1 drubbing of the McKay Club Beacons of the Hockey League. First pitch to Kevin Luciano is fouled off for strike one. It'll be Luciano, Porcelli, and McGowan-Condren due up in this top of the second for the Boston A's. And gets on Javon Barberena. Man on the mound tonight for the Blue Sox, Matt Draper, got the win in that game as well. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs allowed, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. Even the count to Luciano, 1-1. One and two as that hits the outside corner. Smacked into right center field, and took a turn a bit there on Nick Anderson, but came back and then reached back across his body to haul that one in for out number 1.
Now batting the center fielder, number 7, Joe Porcelli.
So Luciano flies out to center for the first out of the top of the second. And here's the center fielder, Joe Porcelli. Porcelli, 2 for 5, the early going of the Park League season. 1 RBI, 2 walks. Swings and misses at that one, and it is 0-2. Again, the Intercity League entering play tonight, undefeated in interleague play this year against the Park and Yawkey Leagues. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Joe Porcelli, second strikeout for Matt Draper, 2 down.
Now batting for the Athletics, the catcher, number 30, Ryan McGowan-Condren.
Here's Ryan McGowan-Condren. 1 for 3 in the early going. Last year for the A's, played in 21 games. Takes a strike. Slash 294, 419, 373. 4 doubles and 13 RBI. Had a career high 20 ribbies the year before. Also career high 1100 OPS. Played the last 8 seasons now, this one included, with the Boston A's after playing the previous 3 seasons with the Al Thomas Athletics of the Yawkey League, whom, in fact, the Blue Sox face tomorrow night.
He's essentially player manager for this team, right?
Okay, but sometimes Mark Leary does that.
No, but
Anyways, buck and a half in the books. Another strikeout for Matt Draper. He's tired of the first 6 with 3 Ks along the way, and it is still 1-0 Blue Sox.
the Lexington Blue Sox 1, the Boston Athletics 0. Due up for the Blue Sox in the bottom of the second, Gabardi, Ward, and Casserly. He's listed on the Berkeley website as like their board of directors.
Fair enough. I am not nearly as engaged, alas. But Walter Benson has my phone number. He knows how to change that. Love you, Walt. Wrong one. The LSP serves, when I say LSP is something for everyone since 2011, I, by God, mean it. Sports, live events, pet sitting and walking, tech, help, parents, and a whole lot more. Find our Thumbtack page and Linktree LSP37 or email yours truly so we can proceed to give you what you need. And we go to the bottom of the second, and after Charlie Camella grounded out to second to end the bottom of the first, it'll be Dom Gabardi, Luke Ward, and we believe Pat Casserly. We'll confirm that as soon as we can. It'll be easy to figure out the next batter. Here in the bottom of the second, Gabardi leading things off against Kevin Sinatra. Fouls off the first one, 0-1. Blue Sox not wasting any time here. Got a little bit of got another one of their patented 2-out rallies together to bring home the first run of the ball game, but only just the one, as Alvarez and Anderson were both stranded in scoring position to end the bottom of the first. It'll be outside for a ball. It'll be 1-1. Gabardi looking for his first hit of the ball game, first of the season rather. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the early going, and he went around on that one on the appeal to first, and it is 1-2. Gabardi made his season debut against the Americans last Monday the 9th, and went 0 for 2 against Malden 2 nights later. Last year was 8 for 19 in 10 games. Double, triple homer, 5 RBIs, 5 walks. Swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch down and away. Strike 3 and strikeout number 2 of the game for Kevin Sinatra.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 19, Luke Ward.
Here's Luke Ward, first baseman, and Pat Casserly is indeed in the on-deck circle. Ward 4 for 8 in his first 6 games, 4 for 9 rather in his first 6 games. He's on a 4-game hitting streak right now with a hit each against the Mad Dogs on May 30th, the Expos on June 2nd, the Americans on June 9th, and the Mad Dogs on June 11th. Outside for a ball is 2-0. His only RBI of the year came against the Expos in that win up in Woburn on June the 2nd. Well, the extra base hit came against the Mad Dogs last time out on the 11th, a double. Dribbles up the first base line, foul, 2 strikes. 1 strike rather. Yep. I saw the 1 up there early and I was like, wait, did I miss a strike? You people mean the world to me. Still not on a shirt, Mrs. Vanders, that one. Lefty against lefty, and the 2-1. Ooh! Well, whatever it takes, right?
The extra hitter, number 14, Pat Casserly.
So, hit streak not extended just yet, but that does make Ward a perfect 7 for 7 in getting on base this season. He had 2 walks against the Bulldogs on May 27th and was plunked in the game against the Chiefs on May 28th. What does he do? He gets on base. Here's Pat Casserly. Comes up empty, and he is behind 0-2. Cass playing his 5th game of the year, looking for his first hit. Takes outside for a ball. Only gotten on base once in his first 4 games. It was a walk against the Chiefs back on May 28th. Downstairs for a ball, coming back to even the count at 2. It's interleague play, and that means it's actually going to be 10 consecutive games of interleague play. There won't be another scheduled ICL opponent for the Blue Sox until the calendar turns into July. Smacked into left field, and that will get down for the first base hit of the year for Pat Casserly. To second goes Ward, and here is Max. Oh, no, wait, it's, I was going to say, McCullough was coming out. Wait, do we have the wrong? It's like, Jesse, help. It is, in fact, Max Dushney. And, I'll sound like a broken record, of course, if I tell you about how, good he is both behind the plate and, just being an absolute nuisance at the plate at the bottom of the order will just make your life so much more difficult if you're a pitcher. Grind out those at-bats. Make you empty the bucket sooner. Pop this one up into shallow right, and it is caught. Wow, an uncharacteristically short at-bat from Dush. He pops up to the right fielder, Berberena, on one pitch. I mean, I know the Sammy Whammy is a thing, but I didn't realize it could affect even that. Lineup turns over for Jesse McCullough, led off the bottom of the first with a single, then came around to score to, so far, the game's only run. Throw back to second and back safely is Ward. Ground to the left side, fielded by the third baseman who slips on the wet turf, the wet dirt, and tried to get the man in the middle, but he is safe. Tough break there for Tommy Lanane, and now the bases are loaded. I mean, you had a couple options there. If you can keep your footing, you can either tag the runner going by you, or you can get the route. You could try to get the man in the middle at second. You could try to get the speedy McCullough at first. Unfortunately, that slip resulted in none of the above, and the bases are loaded for AJ. Hoping for an upgrade on his result from last time, which he struck out swinging, and he takes a strike. It is 0-1. So that means Ward at third, Casserly at second, McCullough at first. Bases loaded, 2 down here on the bottom of the second. And Jimenez pops this one up into shallow right, and that will be caught by the second baseman, Feliz, backpedaling into the outfield, and the Blue Sox leave the bases low. They've left 5 through the first 2 innings, and it is still 1-0 Blue Sox after 2.
The Boston Athletics 0, due up for the A's in the top of the third. Berberena, O'Brien, and Sinatra.
The LSP store is open. Get yourself a DVD or digital copy of most past LSP video broadcasts, or one of several different designs of stickers, shirts, or other merch, including some stuff with my dog, Tina the Long Arena, on it, and some words I've probably said over this here on this here YouTube channel over the years. LSP37.creative-bringing for merch. Email yours truly for game videos. We go to the top of the third. It'll be the bottom third of the order for the Boston A's due up. Barberena, O'Brien, and Sinatra. Javon Barberena, the right fielder, to lead things off against Matt Draper. Some adventures defensively in right field towards the end of that bottom of the second inning. Caught the second out with the bat of Dushney, an uncharacteristic first pitch, swinging one pitch out off the bat of Dush. And then able to hold back as the second baseman Feliz caught the final out with the bases loaded off Jimenez. Still 1-0. Blue Sox going into the third inning and is 3-0 to Barberena. The Blue Sox have left 5 through the first 2 innings. Keeping the door open for the Boston A's. That's in there for a strike, 3-1. Elsewhere in interleague action tonight, the Chiefs are taking on the Palmer Club over at Fallon Field in Roslindale. 3-0 to 3-2. Padres, Boston Padres. Hey, Ed Neal, how you doing? Taking on the Middlesex Expos up in Woburn. And the Malden Mad Dogs and East Boston Knights at Eastie. The other games on the docket tonight, and a walk. The games in the Air City League teams. Anyways, a walk to Barberena leading off this top of the third, and that means that's the first base runner of the game for the Boston A's. Here's Brendan O'Brien. And he takes strike one. Blue Sox back in action tomorrow night, as I mentioned, against the Al Thomas Athletics. That'll be at Roberts Playground in Dorchester. We'll not have coverage of that one for you, alas. We'll be back for Saturday when the Blue Sox take on the Brighton Black Sox, the only non-ICL opponent to hand the Blue Sox an L last year. As part of the Jerry DeAngelis Air City League Day of Baseball. O'Brien gets rung up on strikes as the first called strike 3 of the night for the A's. 4th K now for Draper, and here is Kevin Sinatra. But first, check of the runner at first, and Barberena hasn't really had much of an inkling to go since drawing the leadoff walk. Draper misses upstairs for a ball, 1-0. Expressed all that concern about whether the Blue Sox would be batting 9 or 10 because last year in the interleague games, there was no option for the extra hitter. Even though there is in the ICL, there isn't for the other leagues. So that meant everyone had to bat 9. Oh no! How will we ever play baseball, right? There was also a mercy rule in effect for the interleague games, and from what we understand, it's basically the same as last year, which is 10 runs after 5 innings. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout. Sinatra goes down. That is number 5 for Draper, and the lineup turns over for Pizarro. Pizarro ground out to short to begin the ball game. Off the handle of the bat, right back to Draper, and PFP, baby. Nothing comes to the leadoff walk. The A's get their first base runner. The first hit for them will have to wait. Still 1-0 after 2.5. Are you down with the sound called LSP? Of course you are. Then follow and support us on the web. Linktree, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Flash your subscribe button. Membership's also available. PayPal Creator Spring, LSP 37. All the cool kids are doing it. And we go to the bottom of the third, and it'll be the heart of the order two up for the Blue Sox, Ramirez, Alvarez, and Anderson. Eric Ramirez flew out to center his first time up. Hoping to come back to about 500 for his batting average. He's a pivotal part of this Blue Sox team this year, Rick D'Angelo's told me. A little trick shot up the ramp into center field for a base hit. You know, sometimes you got to win a war of attrition. You got to draw out at bats, and sometimes you just keyhole one pitch, and hey, not wasting any time. Well, he's got the freeze pop torpedo bat out again. We'll see if it produces similar results to his first at bat, which Jules drove home the only run of the ball game, a single that brought home McCullough with 2 outs in the first. Ramirez aboard to begin the bottom of the third, and that is a strike. Started out as a close shave for Jules, and then just turned to a hot towel. I don't know what that means either. Lean into it. 1-1 is the count to Jules. Second time the Blue Sox have gotten the leadoff man aboard. Came home the first time they did when McCullough led off the first of the single. Let's see if that happens again with Ramirez. Bounces to the plate, and Ramirez up to second base on the wild pitch. And a 2-1 count with a runner in scoring position for Julian. Nick Anderson due up next. Anderson has the only extra base hit so far in this ballgame. That catches the inside corner. Be 2-2. Ramirez getting his lead off of second. Is that the second baseman playing in? Smacked in the left field for a base hit, and Rick D'Angelo's puts the stop sign up on Eric Ramirez. So runners at the corners, nobody out for Nick Anderson.
The center fielder, number 33, Nick Anderson.
So not yet a 2 RBI night for Jules, but a 2-hit night anyways. And here is Anderson. Again, has the only extra base hit of this ball game so far, a double with 2 outs in the second. That didn't bring home Jules, and those are the first 2 of so far 5 runners stranded for the Blue Sox through the first 2 innings. Left runners at second, third, and the first, left the bases loaded in the second. Anderson takes strike 1. Anderson's line, by the way, in the game against the A's last year, 2 for 3 with 6 RBIs, 1 run scored. That's a swing and a miss. 0-2. And he had a stolen base. And I think the A's remember that and want to make sure he's not the one who beats them this year. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Nick Anderson. Huge strikeout there for Kevin Sinatra. It's his 3rd of the game. And it makes it 1 out with runners at the corners. And with another lefty coming up, I mean, this is a huge spot here. I mean, you're 1 pitch away from getting out of this unscathed. Another close shave there. It is 1-0. Camella grounded out to second. His first time up to end the first. Oh, that is a beautiful curveball down and away. One and one. Ramirez at third, Alvarez at first. Back-to-back singles to begin this inning. Then Anderson goes down on 3 pitches. Camella able to lay off that one, but both balls in this at-bat have been up close and personal. Go back to swinging down and away. Well, back to the outside portion anyways. That's a called strike, 2-2. With Alvarez at first, reduces the possibility, I would say, of, well, he nearly ran, then paused, and that is fouled off onto Worthen Road. We have an official broadcast. Alvarez can still get the giddy up if he needs to, but in a 1-0 game, how apt are you to gamble here? Again, up and in. I think at this point, if you are a left-handed batter, you just need to look squarely at the outside portion. Now that's ball 4. Up and away this time, and the bases are loaded.
Now batting for the Blue Sox, the right fielder, number 22, Dom Gabardi.
Well, the one thing you could potentially do if that isn't a walk, if you're Alvarez, you can try and play monkey in the middle for long enough that Ramirez could try to score, sneak in the back door, and maybe that would force an errant throw. But that's a play that the Blue Sox have been, and really a lot of teams at this level have been doing more in recent years. Here is Gabardi, struck out swinging his first time up, leading off the second. Takes just high for ball 1. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Ramirez at third, Alvarez at second, Camella at first, and Dom Gabardi hoping to cash in here. Skies this one into right field. Barberena tracks it down with one hand. Ramirez will jog home. Alvarez to third. A sac fly, and it is 2-0 with now 2 down.
Now batting the first baseman, number 19, Luke Ward.
So runners at the corners with 2 down, and Luke Ward up to bat, hit by a pitch his first time. Upstairs for a ball, 1-0. Snap throw back to first on the pickoff attempt, and just back in there is Camella. Alvarez taking third on the sac fly as Ramirez scored. Oh, that got away from the first baseman, but no further advance by the runners. They stay put. Alvarez took a couple steps off of third to see where that ball would carry him, and good job by Luciano keeping it close. So it's still 1-0 with runners at the corners, and Camella definitely a threat to run here. Well, that was a great move, too. That is an absurd move. Sinatra, ended up going home with it, but it was so good that Camella went back to the first base bag. It's 2-0 now. Slide step. It's almost like they're worried more about Camella than they are about Ward. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Ostensibly, Sinatra would be favored here to begin with 2 outs. That's on the outside corner for strike 3-1. So, as a batter, your Ward, do you take that as a sign of respect? Do you actually take it as a sign of disrespect? They're going after the runner rather than you. And it doesn't matter in the end. That's another walk.
Now batting for the Blue Sox, the extra hitter, number 14, Pat Casserly.
Bases are loaded with 2 down for Pat Casserly. No sac fly will be an acceptable result here with 2 down. Got to put it in play and see if you can chase them all home. On the outside corner for strike 1. Cass had a single his first time up. Stranded at second. Blue Sox have left 5 through the first 2 innings. They have the bases loaded with 2 down yet again. Swing and a miss, 0-2. For all the good breaking stuff we've seen from Sinatra, he could dial it up when he needs to, and that is really catching the Blue Sox batters by surprise when that happens. 0-2 to Cass. A little high for a ball. It'll be 1-2. Max Duchney on deck if Casserly can cash in. Swing and a miss. Another huge strikeout to get out of hot water for Kevin Sinatra. The Blue Sox have left 8 through the first 3 innings. And the A's still in this one. The Blue Sox lead 2-0 after 3. LSP and Shipping Shield are partners in cards. Shipping Shields are the eco-friendly sports and gaming card shipping protectors trusted by yours truly. Made in the U.S. and Canada on 100% recyclable cardboard. Use the promo codes on the screen and the promo codes in the link on the screen and in the description for a discount on your order. You can use codes 1, 3, and 5 times each, by the way. LSP 10 once, LSP 7.5 3 times, and LSP 5 times. We may receive a commission from those orders, but we thank you for your continued support of whatever this is. Marcos Feliz, Tommy Linane, and Kevin Luciano due up here in the top of the 4th for the Boston A's. Matt Draper back to work. First pitch swinging, popped up, right side of the infield. AJ's got it for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 8, Tommy Linane.
Tommy Linane. Fly out to center his first time up to end the first. A's so far just 1 base runner, and that was Javon Berberane on a leadoff walk in the 3rd. Getting base runners has not been the issue at all tonight for the Blue Sox. It's bringing them home. They have left 8 through the first 3 innings. Second and third. Runner foul left side, 0-2. Second and third in the first. Bases loaded in the second and the third. And just the 2 runs to show for it. 6 or 7 hits. I need to get the scoring on the McCullough play, whether that was an E5 or a base hit or just a fielder's choice. It was just a fielder's choice. Yep, okay, gotcha. So you got the 6 hits, 2 runs, and 8 left so far for the Blue Sox. And it's one thing if that's over the course of a whole game. Through the first 3 innings. Driven into center field, and that'll stay in the park and then land in Nick Anderson's glove for out number 2. So for the second time, Tommy Linane flies out to center, and here is Kevin Luciano to try and keep the line moving. Last time up, fly out to center. Fouled off, and despite the look from Luke Ward, goes out of play for strike 1. Far cry, certainly, from how the first meeting between these two teams last year panned out. $13-0 mercy rule victory for the Blue Sox in that one. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Whew, boy. Just late on that one. Otherwise, we're looking at a runner in scoring position. I also want to correct myself on the comment I made earlier about the Brighton Black Sox being the only non-ICL opponent to hand the Blue Sox a loss last year. The Black Sox were the only Yawkey League team to beat the Blue Sox last year. TJO Sports was the lone Park League team, I believe it was TJO, to hand the Blue Sox an L, and a base hit up the middle for Kevin Luciano, typecast hitter, as Chris says. That is the first base hit of the night for the Boston A's, but it's always fun to think about a no-hitter, of course, but in a dogfight like the ICL is this year, don't worry about individual accolades. Don't worry about making history. Just pick up wins. The within the ICL, the crowd is starting to separate a little bit as Porcelli takes strike 1. You see the standings entering play tonight, and this was much more tightly contested just a week or two ago. But the Sabres, they were 1-6, won their last 2, so they're starting to, Angelo Colucci's club trying to, get back in a groove again. But if interleague play continues to pan out the way it has so far this year, much like it did last year, those standings again that you see, they might not change a whole lot, relatively speaking, because of the way the ICL has dominated interleague play last year and the start this year. Boing! Dushney follows it back to the backstop, and Luciano take a leisurely jog up to second on the wild pitch. It is 1-2. It's the first interleague game of the year for the Blue Sox. And again, they visit Al Thomas of the Yawkey League tomorrow, and then Saturday they host the Brighton Black Sox. Down and away is 2-2. Saturday, of course, also the Jerry DeAngelis Intercity League Day of Baseball. All 7 ICL teams will be in action here at LHS. Into left center field, and Anderson on his horse! Got it! Do a barrel roll. Halfway home, 2-0 Blue Sox.
We head to the bottom of the 4th inning with the score still Blue Sox 2, Athletics 0. Due up for the Blue Sox in the bottom of the 4th, Dushny, McCullough, and Jimenez.
Advertising opportunities are available on LSP. Sponsor our content for as little as $25 a spot, whether you want to promote a business, product, or event, or send a message of support to a player, team, coach, or insanely talented defensive center fielder. Email yours truly for all the deets. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and it's Dushny, McCullough, and Jimenez due up as they try to get some separation from the Boston A's, and a fantastic diving catch in left center by Nick Anderson, preserving the shutout, if not the no-hitter, as Luciano picked up the first hit of the ball game with 2 out in the top half of this inning for the A's. And now the Blue Sox got that out of their mind, and now they're going to try and extend this lead. 0-1 is the count to Dush, who swung at the first pitch his first time up and then flew out to right. Trying to be a little bit more patient, but now no more patience allowed. He is 0-2 against Kevin Sinatra. And time granted before Sinatra can get into his windup. Dushny, then McCullough, and Anderson Jimenez. And if anyone gets on, Eric Ramirez. 0-2 from Sinatra to Dushny. Fouled off. Let the battle begin. Blue Sox have left 8 through the first 3 innings. Second and third in the first, and the bases loaded in the second and third. Again, far cry from how this matchup played out. These teams met last year on June 11th, Townfield in Dorchester. A 13-0 mercy roll victory in 5 innings for the Blue Sox. Off the end of the bat, grounded towards second, fielded there, and on to first, 1 up, 1 down. That's, I mean, you leave those 8 runners on base, and at this point, you would be looking at a potential run rule victory next inning. Not that there's any guarantee that, you know, the only other outcome would have been all those guys scoring. Here's McCullough, who's reached base twice tonight, 1 for 2. Singled to lead off the bottom of the first, and then scored the Blue Sox first run, and then reached on a fielder's choice. And a tough spot there for the third baseman, Tommy Linane. Got caught in the wet dirt there and tried to get the man in the middle. Ended up being a fielder's choice. and allowed McCullough to reach, but Jimenez popped up to second to end the second and leave the bases loaded. Sinatra delivers the 1-1, and that is on the outside edge for strike two, 1-2. Blue Sox, their 2 runs that they've scored were each in innings where they got the leadoff man aboard. McCullough the first, Ramirez in the third. Dashny, the leadoff man in this bottom of the fourth, grounding out to second. Will the pattern hold is the question. So against McCullough and then Jimenez, and if anyone gets on, Eric Ramirez. Waits on that one, skies it into center field, coming in hot, and making the catch on the run is Porcelli for out number 2.
The second baseman, number 2, Anderson Jimenez.
Jimenez looking for his first base hit of the ball game. Takes down in for ball 1. Read the top line. He's 0 for 2 on the strikeout and a pop up to second. Jimenez, Gabardi, and Dashny are the only Blue Sox starters yet to get a hit in this game. Slice the other way and right next to the right field foul line. It is caught by Barberena for out number 3, the first 1-2-3 inning of the night for Kevin Sinatra, and we go to the 5th. 2-0, Blue Sox.
Lexington Blue Sox 2, Boston Athletics 0. Due up for the A's in the top of the 5th, McGowan, Conrad, Barberena, and O'Brien.
When I say LSP is something for everyone since 2011, I by God mean it. Sports, live events, pet sitting and walking, tech help, errands, and a whole lot more. Find our Thumbtack page or Linktree LSP37 or email yours truly so we can proceed to give you what you need. We go to the top of the 5th, and Ryan McGowan-Condren will lead things off for the Boston A's. His catch will be followed by Javon Barberena and Brendan O'Brien. And if anyone gets on, Kevin Sinatra. A's getting their first hit of the ball game with 2 outs in the top of the 4th, thanks to Kevin Luciano. And now looking to crack the goose egg on the scoreboard. Read the second line. It is 0-1. Condren with a strikeout his first time up. 5 strikeouts so far for Draper. And misses inside for a ball 1-1. Draper hasn't had a strikeout since Sinatra for the second out of the 3rd. Fouled off, it'll be 1-2. Barberena, who's on deck, was the first base runner of the ballgame for the A's, drawing a leadoff walk in the 3rd inning. Blue Sox going 1-2-3 for the first time, the bottom of the 4th. How much will they rue the missed opportunities offensively in the first 3 innings is the question. If Draper keeps pitching like this, won't have to worry about it too much, but obviously you can't count on that every night from everyone. McGowan Condren down on strikes for the second time, and that is the 6th strikeout of the night for Matt Draper, and here is Berberena. I mean, you can't, I don't care how good your pitching staff is, you can't expect to, leave 8 guys on base in the first 3 innings and still come away with a win with really any frequency. 0-1 is the count to Berberena. Fouls that one off, 0-2. The 2 biggest bullets dodged tonight for the Blue Sox were a foul ball in the left field corner that had home run distance, and a shot with 2 outs into the left center field gap by Joe Porcelli that turned likely extra bases into a highlight reel catch by Nick Anderson to preserve the goose egg. Ooh. Well, now you got to take a moment with that little game of pinball there. I mean, we saw the clip of the one Guardians pitcher who just the brim of his hat, and so.
That was that classic Lance Lynn clip where he did get hit in the head, and he's like, "But I was wearing a hat," and they're like, "Yeah, but you weren't wearing a helmet." And he was like, "Oh, you're right." Like the pitchers are just in a different spot.
I mean, seriously, like.
And it just kind of bent the brim of the cap ever so slightly. Yeah.
Put that one in Cooperstown. Rick DeAngelis and Eric Ramirez going out to have a talk with the home plate umpires. I don't know if Mark Leary is here, but who else would administer the concussion protocol, right? just have him watch these broadcasts when a foul ball comes to the backstop, right? That'll be a ball. 1-2 is the count to Berberena with O'Brien due up next. Draper comes set. Oh! I don't know. Draper's been pretty good with the strikes on that. That looked to me a little bit high, and I think everyone paused. I saw their world come to a complete stop there for a moment, except for Max Dushney. He was just ready to go around the horn right away. The catcher, I think, for Coastal Carolina, was it Coastal Carolina? Somebody showed like the pitch FX like graph of like pitches that he had gotten called that were out of the zone, but he had gotten called strikes with his framing job.
I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah.
Pro standard already. Now it's an official broadcast.
When some idiot, just revs it up the other way on Worthen Road. Well,
for the A's in the top of the fifth, no runs on
Matt Draper strikes out the side in the top of the 5th, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-0 Blue Sox.
the Lexington Blue Sox 2, the Boston Athletics 0. Due up for the Blue Sox in the bottom of the 5th, Ramirez, Alvarez, and Anderson.
The LSP store is open. Get yourself a DVD or digital copy of most past LSP video broadcasts, or one of several different designs of stickers, shirts, or other merch, including some stuff with my dog, Tina the Long Arena, on it, and some words I've probably said on this here YouTube channel over the years. LSP37.creative-spring.com for merch. Email yours truly for game videos. All right, we go to the bottom of the fifth, and it'll be Eric Ramirez, Julian Alvarez, and Nick Anderson due up. Part of the order due up for the Blue Sox. This was the three that came to bat to begin the third inning. Last time the Blue Sox scored. Ramirez watches that one go all the way down for a ball, 1-0. So the Blue Sox going in order for the first time in the bottom of the fourth, but Matt Draper repays the deed in kind, or even more so, by striking out the A's in order in the top half of this fifth inning. We'll see if that puts a little pep in the Blue Sox offensive step. Ramirez watches that one go outside, and it is 3-0 against Ramirez, Alvarez, and Anderson. And if anyone gets on, Camella. Ramirez led off the third with a single, ended up scoring. Here's a throw from third. What a seed, out number one. Eric, it's your mom, honey. Come back, please.
Number 25, it's Jules Alvarez.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, Eric. Eric basically doing like an Andy Kaufman type, keep on running. Like it's not even like, yeah, Forrest Gump would be the more apt metaphor, but like it just in terms of the kind of humor you need sometimes. Back up the box for a base hit for Jules. He is 3 for 3. It's Prince Spaghetti night, Eric. Here's Anderson. Still sitting on the only extra base hit of this ball game, a double back in the first, which I'm sure the Blue Sox would have loved to have result in another run, but Jules gets aboard with the base hit. But again, in the first, the 2 runs that the Blue Sox scored this game came in innings where they got the leadoff man on, the first and the third. Bounces to the plate. Jules takes off for second rather. And the word third stuck in my head there. So it is 1-1 with a runner in scoring position. Anderson struck out swinging his last time. He is 1 for 2. Anderson's double, just his third hit of the year, his first extra base hit. For a man who told you his performance against the Boston A's in their one meeting last year. It's part of a season which Nick slashed .333, .455, .633, and stole 11 bases in 13 attempts. See if he can trade places with Jules here. 1-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. Second out. Another huge strikeout for Sinatra.
Left fielder, number 18, Charlie Camella.
5th K of the ball game. I mean, this doesn't feel like a pitcher's duel, even though the score absolutely indicates that. Yeah, exactly. Like the Blue Sox have, it's not like, they've been necessarily, they haven't been hurting for base runs, just been hurting for runs. Grounder to the right side off the bat of Charlie Camella, and that will do it for the bottom of the 5th. Alvarez picks up a base hit. He is now 3 for 3. However, it is still 2-0 Blue Sox. Are you down with a sound called LSP? Of course you are. Then follow and support us on the web. Linktree, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Flash the subscribe button. Membership's also available. PayPal, Creator Spring, LSP37. It's the right thing to do. As we go to the top of the sixth, a couple of changes to let you fine folks know about for the Blue Sox. Robbie Cobb takes over on the mound, and Mrs. Vanderzouwen's baby boy, David Vanderzouwen, takes over in right field and is in the seventh slot in the batting order for Dom Gabardi, who sees his night come to an end 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a sac fly, bringing home the second of just 2 runs in this ball game for the Blue Sox, well, for all teams involved, actually. And despite what I've said about, this being, this game playing out much differently than the meeting between these two teams last year, is the ground on the first pitch by Sinatra, and in time for out number 1 on the 4-3 ground out, Jimenez throws him out. Every game, through the first couple of days of interleague play has been pretty tightly contested, all things considered. Certainly, no run rule drubbings. But now here's Derek Pizarro, who takes outside for ball 1. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts. Again, it's Robbie Cobb now on the mound for the Blue Sox. Cobb misses down and away, 2-0. Cobb made his season debut against the Americans on June 9th, when an inning and third allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and struck out 1. Misses up and away, though, and that is ball 3, 3-0 to Pizarro, who will be followed by Feliz, if anyone gets on, Lenane. And that just missed outside for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk brings the tying run to the plate in the person of Marcos Feliz.
Now batting for the A's, the second baseman, number 1, Marcos Feliz.
Cobb, last year, pitched in 4 games, was 0-1 of the .525 ERA. And he gets a strike in there. Only played in 1 game against an interleague opponent. That was against the Al Thomas Athletics on July 24th of last year. Fouled off and will be 0-2. In that game, he went 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Sister Jenna was a photographer for the Blue Sox for a few years, and had a very good reason to not be with us for most of the season last year. She was an intern in the Boston Celtics social media department during their run to the NBA championship. Into left field, and that'll get down for a base hit. Back-to-back base runners. The A's starting to cook here. The tying run is now at first, and the go-ahead run comes to the plate in the person of the number 3 hitter, the third baseman, Tommy Lenane.
Now batting for the A's, the third baseman, number 8, Tommy Lenane.
Lenane just 1 for 9 his first 3 games with the A's this year. Last year, 393, 469, 554 with 15 ribbies. Takes a strike, 0-1. Dating back to 2012 in stints in the Park League, Intercity League, MABL, and MSBL. That's grounded left side. Ramirez kicks off of him, and he'll try to go to first for the out, and he didn't get him. That play ended up being much closer at first than I thought it would be, but the bases are loaded now. Good job by Eric to stay with that one, and obviously not eat it into Harold Crum Field. But bases loaded, one out for Kevin Luciano. As a strike. Error? Yeah. Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that bloodbath of a hop, right? All right, here's Luciano. He had the first hit of the ball game for the A's back in the fourth. Comes up empty there, and it is 0-2. Flew out to center his first time, but the tying run now in scoring position for the Boston A's. Popped up, foul the other way, and that'll get out of play. Remains 0-2. Pizarro at third, Feliz at second, Linane at first, 3 consecutive base runners after Sinatra, the leadoff man, was retired, and it is now 1-2. Center fielder Porcelli is due up next. Popped up, foul territory, and it'll drop. And probably better at that point that it did. And catch and carry rule or not, your momentum, even if you do haul that in, is going to carry you so far that it's not inconceivable for Feliz to tag and score from second on a play like that. Into left center field, and that'll get down for a base hit, and this game is going to be tied. They're waving the man, Linane, around third. With one swing of the bat, Kevin Luciano flips this game on its head. A bases clearing double for Kevin Luciano gives the A's the lead. And that is going to do it for Robbie Cobb. Still responsible for Luciano at second, as we have a pitching change forthcoming. LSP and Shipping Shield are partners in card. Shipping Shields are the eco-friendly sports and gaming card shipping protectors trusted by yours truly. Made in the U.S. and Canada on 100% recyclable cardboard. Use the promo code and link on the screen or in the description for a discount on your order. We may receive a commission from those orders, but we thank you for your continued support of whatever this is. Well, Josh Becker is going to be the new pitcher for the Lexington Blue Sox after Robbie Cobb got Kevin Sinatra for the first out of the inning, and then a walk to Pizarro, a single by Feliz, another single by Lenane, and then a bases-clearing double by Kevin Luciano has given the Boston A's the lead 3-2 with one out here on the top of the sixth. And here is Joe Porcelli to be the first man to greet the new noodle, Josh Becker. Porcelli looking for his first hit of the ball game. He is 0 for 2. And he's going to get it as that gets down. First pitch swing in left center field, being waved around third is Luciano. And maybe a little trouble getting it back into the infield. It is 4-2, just like that.
Now batting the catcher, number 30, Ryan Conrad.
Porcelli with the RBI single. 5 consecutive batters have now reached 4 consecutive hits for the A's. Here is McGowan Condren. Trying to avoid the hat trick here. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks, but I'm sure he's happy to see Matt Draper go. Swing and a miss, 0-1. That run closes the book on Robbie Cobb. He goes a third of an inning and allows 1 walk, 3 hits, and 4 runs. Swing and a miss, 0-2. So Draper's going to get a no decision after 5 innings, allowing no runs, 1 hit, and 1 walk with 8 strikeouts. Swing and a miss. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Ryan McGowan Condren. So, fortunately for him, the new noodle does not change his luck at the plate.
Now batting for the A's, the right fielder, number 4, Javon Barberena.
And we'll see if Javon Barberena can keep the line moving. And, I mean, I said it earlier, you can't count on your pitching staff to pick up the slack if you leave 8 guys on base through the first 3 innings every time. And tonight is a prime example. The Blue Sox were unable to cash in all those base runners they had in the first 3 innings. They have in total left 9 tonight. Again, leaving second and third in the first and the bases loaded in the second and the third. Gave the A's hope, and they have cashed in big time. 4 runs here in the top of the 6th to take their first lead of the ball game. Down and away for a ball, and it is 2-1. The A's hoping to get the Intercity League into the win column in this interleague joust between the A's trying to get the Park League into the win column, rather. In this interleague joust against the ICL and the Yankee League. Swing and a miss. It is 2-2. The Blue Sox hoping to do the ICL proud after they've taken the first 5 interleague games so far, but down to their final 6 outs offensive lead, now down 2. They fouled off. We'll do it again. See if there's an update available on the other games going on in the ICL tonight, but I am not sure if that'll be the case. With the earliest start being the Chiefs and Palmer at 7:45. I mean, it would take another Jared Frenny performance to have a final by now, but the A's bust out with 4 runs on 4 hits. They leave 1, and after 5.5, 4-2 A's.
We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is the Boston Athletics 4, the Lexington Blue Sox 2. Due up for the Blue Sox in the bottom of the 6th, Vanderzowen, Ward, and Casserly.
Advertising opportunities are available on LSP. Sponsor our content for as little as $25 a spot, whether you want to promote a business, product, or event, or send a message of support to a player, team, or coach. Email yours truly for all the deets. We go to the bottom of the sixth. The Blue Sox need a rally here, and to get it started is Mrs. Vanderzouwen's baby boy, David Vanderzouwen, getting his first AB of the ball game after coming in defensively for Dom Gabardi in the top half of this inning. He looks at strike one on the outer edge. Kevin Sinatra back out there, staked to a lead for the first time tonight. The 0-1. Fouled off the other way, and it is 0-2. DVZ is 3 for 11 in 4 games so far, coming off a 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored against Malden on June 11th. Upstairs for ball 1-2. So far, slash line of 273, 333, 545 with 1 ribby and 1 stolen base. Skies this one into left center field, and that will be tracked down by Porcelli for relatively routine out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th.
The first baseman, number 19, Luke Ward.
So the Blue Sox do not get the leadoff man aboard, and again, the only times they did score in this game were in innings where they did get the leadoff man aboard, the first and the third. Can they break the trend here? Here's Luke Ward. Here, that is up and in for ball 1. Luke is hit by a pitch in the second and drew a walk in the third. That runs inside, 2-0. There's a little bit of a pep talk for the Blue Sox after they came in after that top half of the inning. Rick D'Angelo's telling his guys, one of the messages he always sends, is don't afraid to be great, dare to be great, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what does Luke Ward do? He gets on base. This is his 3rd time aboard without the aid of a hit. Jake McElroy, wearing the former jersey number of one old warhorse, Dan Graham, hoping to provide some old warhorse heroics. Try and get the Blue Sox back in this one. Takes high for ball 1. Casserly finishes his day 1 for 2. McElroy takes up and away, ball 2, 2-0. There was some action in the A's bullpen during the top half of the 6th. McElroy enters play slashing 267, 333 with 4 RBIs. Grounds this one to the first base side, and that'll be picked up foul for strike 1. 2-1 is the count. McElroy went 1 for 4 against the Mad Dogs on June 11th with a couple of ribbies, but also a couple of strikeouts, and was caught stealing, in fact. All 4 of his hits this season have actually come against the Malden Mad Dogs, doing 3 hits on May 30th. Got to bust out of that trend, too. 3-1, and good patience here by Blue Sox hitters to work the count here on Kevin Sinatra. And that misses high for a ball. And even without the Blue Sox being able to cash in on those opportunities, those long innings early on with, is this the time that it comes back to bite them? That would be the question here. That extra workload early on. Blue Sox, again, did not score very much. Only 2 runs those first 3 innings and leaving 8. But is this the time where that extra workload helps them and works against Kevin Sinatra? Back-to-back walks after the flyout by Vanderzouwen, and now Chucky Capello to pinch hit for Max Dushney. Comes up empty for strike 1. Chucky is playing in his 4th game, but only has 1 at-bat on the season. He's 0 for 1. He does have a walk, though. And now he's behind 0-2 with Jesse McCullough due up next. High for a ball, and McGowan Conrad hangs on to the ball, bluffing the snap throw attempt. Ward at second and McElroy at first. 1-2. Downstairs, Ward thought about it, but stays at second. 2-2. Blue Sox dugout trying to will Capello through this at-bat with McCullough due up next. Oh, inside edge, strike 3 called. Huge strikeout there for Kevin Sinatra.
Number 12, Jesse McCullough.
6th strikeout on the night. That's on the outside edge for strike 1 to McCullough, who is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the first. Reach on fielder's choice in the second, and flew out to center in the fourth. Way high, and McGowan Conrad able to spring high and haul that one in to make sure runners don't advance. 1-1 is now the count to the Blue Sox shortstop. Pickoff attempt at second, and back safely is Ward. Ward's at second. McElroy's at first. We've seen 3 batters get their first ABs of the game of this inning. Fly ball into right. That is caught, and the side is retired. The Blue Sox strand 2 more, and they have now stranded 11 on the night. We go to the 7th. 4-2 A's.
Top of the 7th inning. Athletics 4, Blue Sox 2. Due up for the A's in the top of the 7th. O'Brien, Sinatra, and Pizarro.
The LSP store is open. Get yourself a DVD or digital copy of most past LSP video broadcasts, or one of several different designs of stickers, shirts, or other merch, including some stuff with my dog, Tina the Long Arena, on it, and some words I probably said on this here YouTube channel over the years. LSP37.creative-spring.com for merch. Email yours truly for game videos.
We have a defensive substitution to announce for the Blue Sox. Now catching, batting in the 10 spot, number 49, Luke Maltasia. And leading us off in the top seventh inning, the left fielder, number 11, Brennan O'Brien.
Brennan O'Brien will lead things off here in the top of the seventh for the Boston A's, and the Blue Sox have a new catcher after Chucky Capello had pinch hit for Max Dushney. Luke Maltasea behind the dish as Josh Becker goes back to work and gets O'Brien to foul that one into the screen for strike one, 0-1. You want to talk about, patterns that the Blue Sox need to break out of, not just in this game, but also season-long patterns. If this score holds, you're looking at a continued pattern dating back to the very first game of loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And you got to start stringing not just positive at-bats together, but positive games and positive results together. They do get O'Brien on strikes, looking for the third time to start this top of the seventh. And now here is Sinatra. Sinatra with a phenomenal performance on the mound so far. 0 for 2, and he's going to try and lay one down and fails to do so for strike one. He's 0 for 2 at the plate with a strikeout and a ground out to second, but that is the furthest thing from the A's mind right now as he's gotten out of some tough jams. Offers at that one again, and it is 0-2, and I can kind of understand, his line of thought here. You don't want to, risk something happening because it looks like he's going to go back out there for the bottom half to try and finish what he started. Maybe just do the coup de song play, but which one? Becker with a 1-2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Becker. In fact, he has struck out every batter that he's gotten out in this game. He had the first pitch single to Porcelli that he allowed. The run on the RBI in that run was charged to Cobb, but it's been 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Becker as the lineup turns over for Pizarro. Now, Pizarro got the rally started in the 6th as he hits this one the other way into right, and that'll get down. Then it takes a funny bounce away from the right fielder, and Pizarro will hold at first in the end. Good recovery by David Vanderzowen, and Pizarro will not stretch that into a 2-out double, but he does get on base for the second time tonight. As Pizarro started the rally in the 6th, that gave the A's the lead, and in fact, all 4 runs they have scored in this game. Started with a walk by Pizarro, and then it was a single by this man, Marcos Feliz. 1 for 3, the single run scored lasting. Before that, strikeout in the first, pop up to second in the 4th. And he is ahead 1-0. In the bottom of the 7th, on the Blue Sox have the right guys coming to the plate. Jimenez, Ramirez, and Alvarez. They want to try and start a rally. Grounds this one to the left side. Nice backhand by Ramirez. The seed to first in time. Well, again, defensive plays you would hope can translate into offensive momentum for the Blue Sox, but they only got one chance to really make that count here. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, it is closing time for the A's, but the Blue Sox need 2 to tie and 3 to win. Stay tuned for partial excitement. Are you down with the sound called LSP? Of course you are. Then follow and support us on the web. Linktree, Facebook, YouTube, PayPal, Creator Spring. Don't forget to subscribe. Flash the subscribe button. LSP 37. Because you know you want to. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and again, just the guys you want coming up to the plate in a spot like this if you're the Blue Sox. Starting with Anderson Jimenez, who is hoping to get off the schneid here. He's 0 for 3. Strikeout in the first, pop up in the second, fly out to right in the fourth. Kevin Sinatra hoping to finish what he started. Gets a bunt down, does Anderson, but it rolls foul to the backstop, and the count will be 0-1. Say hi to the folks at home, Sammy. What do you expect me to get it? 0-1 is the count to AHA. Again, Ramirez and Alvarez due up after him. Sinatra delivers. Way high. 1-0. That seems to be the spot where Sinatra misses the most often when he does. Up and away to righties, up and into lefties. But he's been very good at getting his spots into righties, away to lefties. So you got to be cognizant of that. 2-2 is the count. Fouled it off. Just darted down and into the back foot the last moment, and Jimenez lucky to spoil it. Sinatra winds and delivers. Popped up, but fouling behind us. It'll be 2-2. Inside corner, strike 3 called, and Jimenez letting the home plate umpire know what he thought of that one, but that's about it. And 1 up, 1 down.
Number 17, Eric Ramirez.
Ramirez, single and run scored back in the third. That's the last run scored by the Blue Sox. And again, we see the pattern continue. Will we see the pattern continue of Blue Sox being unable to score in an inning where they don't get the leadoff man aboard? Because it's only been the first and the third in which they have done so. Into the right side, and a lazy looping liner into the second baseman Felice's glove. And the Blue Sox are down to their final out.
Now batting for the Blue Sox, the designated hitter, number 25, Julian Alvarez.
Well, it's Jules. But what does he have in store for us? He is 3 for 3, 3 singles, RBI back in the first. Down in for a ball. 1-0. No one warming for the A's. 1-1. Alvarez. Nodding at that call. 2-1. You really just got to protect the inside part if you are a righty against Sinatra at this point. Fouled off, and the Blue Sox are down to their final strike. They have the Al Thomas Athletics of the Yawkey League tomorrow night, but hoping for a comeback here, maybe salvage a point, 2-2. Able to hold up, and it is a full count. You obviously cannot really change much with one swing of the bat if you are Jules, so you got to get on base any way you can. Anderson due up next. Payoff. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Boston A's Revenge is a dish best served cold, and they do that in painful fashion for the Blue Sox, reversing the 13-0 loss last year with a 4-2 victory, scoring all 4 of their runs in the top of the 6th, and Kevin Sinatra picks up the win, going the distance. Robbie Cobb takes the L, and it's Kevin Luciano going 2 for 3 with a double, 3-run double that ends up being the difference in this one. Jules goes 3 for 4 with 3 singles and an RBI, and Matt Draper 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts, but not enough to help the Blue Sox to victory, and they'll have to turn around quick and see if they can get back in the win column tomorrow night against the Al Thomas Athletics, which again, we will not have coverage of that game, but you got to get a win, then you got to string these together. Can't, just keep bouncing back and forth between the win and the loss columns, obviously. So with that said, this has been a presentation of LSP, something for everyone for over a decade, copyright 2025. Unauthorized redistribution of any portion of this broadcast without the express written permission of LSP and the Lexington Blue Sox is strictly prohibited. A reminder that LSP and Shipping Shield are partners in cards. You can use the promo codes and the link on your screen and in the description for a discount on your order. We may receive a commission from those orders, but we thank you for your continued support or your continued support of whatever this is. Sorry, just trying to get. All right. You mean the world to me, Chris. Anyways, so yeah, we thank you for your continued support of whatever this is. You can also do by sponsoring future LSP content, hiring us to work your next live event, buying some of this fabulous merchandise, and of course, following us at Linktree, Facebook, YouTube, PayPal, Creator Spring, LSP 37. Once again, the final score from center field at Lexington High School in Lexington, Mass. It is the Boston A's 4 and Lexington Blue Sox 2 for Chris Del Sordo and all my very rowdy friends here at LHS. My name is Sam Feely, reminding you forever and always, freelance isn't free. Thanks for tuning in. Fresh for 2025. Suckers. Love you, Katrina. Party hard, kid.